Is the intro playing or not? It's not, is it?
No.
WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle-Eyed Football, and welcome back to Eagle-Eyed Football where we're actually happy about something. Our first win of the season. And I think a few people actually said in the comments as well of our fan cams. Dan, what is a top spur?
I don't know. I'm still not sure, to be honest.
No.
I think they just turn up I think they turn up once a year, don't make any noise ever, and generally be a bit Spursy.
Ooh, well, we have got our first win in the Premier League. Crystal Palace 1, Top Spur 0, and JP in the winner. Chairman, how are you feeling? You got a win.
Oh, happy and it's the first time this season that I've watched Match of the Days. That says a lot, doesn't it? So I don't watch when we don't win. So yeah, I'm actually watching for a change. But no, not only am I very happy, but I think we thoroughly deserved a victory anyway. So yeah, very happy.
Dan?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, we completely deserved it. Like, it wasn't like it was a bit of a smash and grab. Like, we made them look terrible. Appreciate they played midweek, but we knew that and we played on that. And yeah, we deserved it. And I hope that's going to be a massive boost of confidence going into Wolves on Saturday.
100%. We've got a game in between then, which I'm kind of hoping we put half a team out for it and we focus on the Premier League right now. But we need to talk about this game because that was the first game this whole season we've actually pressed, and it's a heaven and hell difference, isn't it, Chairman?
Oh, massively, yeah, massively. I mean, I was watching it on Match of the Day, and the first thing they said was that we turned the ball over 21 times, which is the second most this season, which is absolutely incredible. But I was looking at comparing like the Spurs game to the Forest game. It makes a weird reading actually, because yesterday we had 247 passes, and against Forest we had 448. We made 32 tackles yesterday, but only 23 against Forest. So it just shows it's not the amount of passes you have, it's what you do with them, isn't it? But yeah, the pressing was incredible, wasn't it? And watching it back on the telly, we absolutely harried them so far up the field. It's ridiculous. And why the manager, the Tottenham manager that is, he carried on with that, playing out the back with that guy who obviously can't kick the ball straight, was incredible. But I'm glad he did, and I'm glad we got the points. Shame it was we didn't get a couple more. We deserved a two possibly 3-0 win anyway. So
100%. Dan, how do you think? Obviously, pressing is one thing, but how coordinated was our press? Because we have pressed a little bit this season, but this game actually felt like we had proper press triggers. And could you maybe elaborate on what those were in this game?
I think something that I alluded to in my Tactical actually. One thing that Spurs really like to do is when they play out, they're very good and always try to turn players. So what I mean is they always want to try and face the opponent's goal wherever that is on the pitch. Whether that's skipping past a player or whether it is just receiving the ball and turning around instantly or whatever. They like to do that. And we made sure that they weren't able to do that, basically. So in terms of the triggers themselves, generally speaking, it would be, we would try and anticipate where they're going to pass next. And then when they're either about to make that pass or just after they've made that pass, we'll then go and face that player. And we just didn't really give them any sort of time. And obviously, it was a lot more intense. The reasons for that, people have said it on Twitter, and actually I do agree, because we've had a more settled back three. it kind of gave impetus for other players just to push up a lot higher. Like, I can't recall Mitchell and Munoz pushing up as high as they did yesterday, as they have also since the end of last season, because we like to use that kind of like the four press with like Mateta and the two attackers, and then usually one or two of the midfielders, and then the fullbacks or the wing backs would then push up really high up against the outlet of the fullbacks. And we saw that yesterday, whereas we haven't before. Is this time for my stats, or would you do it after?
No, let's do your stats, because
Come on, go for it.
Right, okay. So let me just share.
It's going to be good stats for once. This is going to be a change.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did very. I think as well the importance of our press was that we. Is that all right? I'll put it up.
Yeah, I've got it.
So I'll put it. I'll change this in a sec. But I think our press was so important because I think the way Spurs play, they want to kind of like hem. Actually, let me put it up back on there. Right. This is a thing that I've been experimenting with. It could be quite useful, actually. Okay, so if I do, so this is the tackle map versus.
Oh, tackle map.
Yeah. So this is where we attempted our tackle against Nottingham Forest. As you can see, there's a big dirge of this. Change that colour. Like around here. Obviously, I think to be fair, I think the way Forest play, is a bit difficult. But then this was the one against Spurs. So this was the one against Spurs. Can you see that all right?
Yeah.
So obviously you can see we've got a lot more going on there. And then when you add the interception map onto that as well. So you can see we've got quite a lot in their half of their half of the pitch. And I think it's so important because Spurs can really hem teams in their own half, that if we kind of got them at source, then I think that's what made them crumble. And in terms of XG, only 3 teams since Ange took over have given them less XG since Ange started. And that's Wolves last season, Man City last season, and Arsenal this season. Apart from Arsenal this season, we're the only team to give them less than 1 XG in the game, which I think that speaks for itself, really. And whilst I'm here, I'll show you Actually, no, it's not about the press, so I'll hide this back. But that, in a nutshell, I think is what the press did. And yeah, I see Animal's comment there. The energy was just better as well. We were more on it. We were more hungry for it.
Yeah, I think the press was very intelligent, because whenever they took a goal kick, as Chairman already said, they insisted on playing out from the back, even though they were struggling with it a lot. But I think our trigger was very clever. It was, I wouldn't say it was I think it was, you marked everyone but the goalkeeper, because when the goal kick happened, we'd charge straight into the box, and either Romero or Van de Ven would give the ball straight back to Vicario. But what we would do is we'd cut out all of the passing lanes for Vicario. So basically, because we had that slight change in formation, we had a heavy overload in our side of the pitch. So Vicario only had 2 options. He either hit it long and hope that someone could run in behind. And luckily, because of our high line, they got caught offside quite a little bit. And also, whenever he tried to drop it in the pocket, we had 2 men on their striker at all times. So every single time that he tried to lift it into Solanke and sort of like middle third of their half, Adam Wharton or Will Hughes would just cut it out every single time. So that was sort of our interceptions and how our press on their goal kick was very important. And also, like, it's mad to say it, but because of our press from one of their goal kicks is the actual reason why we made our chance and scored from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I think Munoz won it, didn't he? And then he crossed it in, and then Eze's touch is unreal, but and obviously great chance for Mateta.
Wait, let's talk about that. Obviously, it was a great press to get into that situation. Eze up until that point just sort of started to get back in the swing of things. I think first 5-10 minutes he was a little bit like Eze has been in the last few games, and there was a few times we tried to nutmeg Kulusevski, and you're thinking, why are you trying to do that? Kulusevski is too good to nutmeg him. Like, not doing the easy things, not clearing the ball when he probably should have. I think after that amazing, what was it? Flick or touch? Not really sure. Amazing bit of skill. It sort of gave him that bit of confidence, and then you sort of saw the Eze last season, where he was playing with confidence. He had the swagger about him. He was taking on people. He was running at defenders. Like Eze was back like towards like after the goal winning. Really, like he was brilliant after that point. How do you think that link up play and that goal that we've scored would impact our confidence for the rest of the season, Chairman?
And if I go back to the goal first, I mean, after watching it back, you see, obviously, when the keeper's got the ball, you saw Mateta like charging the keeper down, and he put it out to his right, and Eze like he went and charged him down. And what the Tottenham defender was trying to be a bit clever and lift it in between the two of them over to Van der Ven, but overhit it because Munoz must have run 30, 40 yards, and he did. I don't think he even saw him coming. And of course, as soon as he won the ball off him, he just stood there, didn't he? I think he was in shock that he was actually there because he didn't actually try to close the ball down. And what was good for Munoz, he didn't wait, did he? I mean, because Mateta and Eze had already closed the players down, they're already in the box. So an early cross of what he did, the Tottenham players were running back. There was no position to defend. But I mean, yeah, the press was fantastic, wasn't it? It just caused them so many problems. They didn't know how to deal with it. And as I said, I still can't fathom out how Postecoglou didn't say to his keeper, just kick it out and try to beat the press. But he didn't. And they kept on at it. And I've got to say, he's a very good goalkeeper, but with his feet, he's absolutely hopeless. But
made a great save against Wharton late on, but as you said, with his feet.
Oh my God, yeah. That was terrible.
I agree with you. I think it was your fan cam, JC. I thought Vicario was meant to be good with his feet, but maybe not.
I always thought that he was meant to be good with his feet. I know that I'm sure that I've seen videos of people saying, he's a great ball playing goalkeeper, blah blah blah, but he's really not. Maybe it's because of how Spurs attack. Most teams just sit off of him, so he's got unlimited time, and really and truly. Even if you give Henderson blood, actually no, I wouldn't even say that because even then he kicks it off the pitch. But you know what I mean? Like a half decent goalkeeper would keep the ball in play if you've got no pressure.
Yeah,
I think the last two things on Spurs, I would say, or is it even Spurs? Controversial opinions. I've put the link in the chat, so if anyone wants to join, they can. And I'll probably, if anyone joins, I'll probably ask them this exact question as well. 2 dodgy decisions. Dan, is it a penalty?
I think it's one of those. Having seen it back, I mean, when I was there, I was absolutely certain it was a penalty. Having looked on it after, I think it's one of those ones that I think if it's given against you, you're a bit like, oh, that's soft. But then obviously, like, we're gonna scream and shout for it. I think it's one of those ones. I think if it's given, it doesn't get overturned. But then, I think there was a very good tweet saying that the way that plays is, beneficial to the big clubs because the refs, I think, kind of assume that the better players have done it right, if that makes sense. And so then if he gives it, it doesn't get overturned, but he doesn't give it. So.
And then is Van der Ven a red?
I actually don't think it's a red, to be honest. I think it would have been a harsh red if it was a red. But again, it's one of those ones where I think it could go either way, and it's 50-50, and I don't think it'll get overturned whichever way it was.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Chairman, is it a pen and is it a red?
Well, I think you said it. And I think Cole Peters has just said it in the chat as well. I think it's just this vague rule, isn't it, about how long can you hold on to someone's shirt, And I think probably Eze has got a bit of a reputation of going down very easily. I mean, looking at it, I agree with Dan. I think it's very, very harsh. If it's given against you, you'd be screaming the place down, wouldn't you? And I'm now seeing the Van der Veen. I'm convinced now that that wouldn't have been a penalty because he wasn't going directly towards the goal, so he wouldn't have been classed as a goal scoring opportunity. He's going away from the goal. He's probably going near the corner flag, not knowing he really, but his angle was going. Not I'm just saying that he would have got the ball beforehand. He could have easily cut back and gone into the box, but I think it's one of them. Again, it could have gone either way, but I suppose he sort of just about got both decisions right. But obviously, we could have got both of them, and we could have both gone against us. It's one of them things, really.
Mm-hmm. Tim, penalty or a red card? Yes or no?
I was going to go no penalty because I think if that had been called against Palace, I would have felt pretty hard done by. So I'm okay with that one not being a penalty. But I am not buying the no red card. I hate that rule about the angle because the angle is only in the moment.
Absolutely right.
It's only in that moment. Like if he does get the ball, if Van de Ven doesn't take him out, he's very. I mean, he could absolutely be in on goal. But I get it. I guess you could only go with what you've got. So by the law, fair enough. It's not a red, but that one really pissed me off because it's
mad when Tim swears.
There's a pound in the box.
Well, I was screaming at my screen because it didn't look very, and I guess I have limited angle because I'm watching it on the screen, but it didn't. And maybe this is the thing that I was missing, Chairman, is that it looked very similar to the Saliba red.
Absolutely.
Even though I get that I could only see part of it, it just looks so similar. I was fuming. So maybe I just don't have all the information.
I totally agree with you, Tim, actually, that,
Yeah.
it's a very contentious thing. One thing I want to ask Tim quickly, actually, I'm taking you watched the whole game on the telly, Tim.
Yes.
How did we saw it ourselves? We thought it was fabulous, but how did Maxence Lacroix performance come over to you on the telly?
Gosh, he looked outstanding. He looked so good. He looked great. He looked great. And every time, this is the way it looked to me, as they were hoofing it down, trying desperately, and it looked like it was getting increasingly desperate. I wonder how it showed up in the park, but it looked like it was getting increasingly desperate. Just do anything to get Solanke on the ball, and they could never effectively, except for maybe twice, get him effectively on the ball. I thought he was outstanding. And I thought every time that Solanke tried to turn, that was just, I mean, I didn't feel bad for him, but it did feel like Lacroix was toying with him a little bit because he outpaced him every time. He just takes the angle on him and takes the ball right away. He made him look like a baby. It was incredible. It really was incredible.
Recovery pace is incredible as well.
I've never seen that before. So I thought he was unbelievable. I thought it was very clear. He was man of the match for me. But God bless Will Hughes. I will never love that. I love that guy so much. We could talk about that more later, but seeing him come on and seeing the way he played, you can't give him man of the match, but gosh, yeah, yes. Answer to this is yes. But hopefully in the best way possible. Like I hope what you're not thinking of is you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I hope not, but I do. I think he's phenomenal. But anyway, yeah, incredible to watch. I lost my voice pretty quickly. I was screaming my lungs out when that goal went in.
Dan, how do you think playing Sarr on that right-hand side changed how we played in general compared to when we played Kamada or Nketiah out there?
So let me share my screen again.
Oh, too much. Twice in one day.
Too much
So-
screen time.
There's only a couple on here. So
Chronically online.
So here is the heat map of Sarr and Munoz or Munoz or whatever in the game yesterday. So, whoops. I can't remember which one was which now. There we go. So we have let's do blue. So we have Daniel Munoz, who likes to be further over here, but then he then likes to be here, and I think when you see Sarr on that right hand side, that's what allowed him to kind of drift inside, and you can very clearly see where you have one line. You have this line. Do you know what we call this bit?
The underlap.
Or no, what we call the space. Yeah,
The half space.
That's the half space. And you can see with both players, you have some sort of presence there, which to me, obviously we watched it, but to me, or just based on that, that tells me that Munoz likes to be here. Sarr is happy to be here or here. And then that's allowed Munoz to be here. And in fact, I did have a look at some of his old heat maps from the Pro League as well. This is Daniel Munoz's heat map. So this is his season heat map on the left-hand side over here. So you can see there's a lot of inverting on this. This isn't like a classic hug the touchline fullback. And then here, these are just two random games that I picked when he played for Genk. As you can see, plays as a natural kind of wide fullback, both sides in his own half. But once he kind of hits that final third, he likes to be in these kind of areas. And I think when we didn't have Sarr, for example, he was being forced down here, and that isn't his game. I think he's a very good facilitator. I think he links the play well, but he's not a ball carrier that would go down the wing. And I think going back to Sarr, going back to the Sarr situation, Sarr is happy to do that. At least yesterday he was. And then so because of that, that meant that Munoz didn't have to just stick here. He was able to go into this bit here. And then they also swapped. So sometimes Munoz did go wide when there was space, when Sarr went into the middle. But generally speaking, that width just helped him to do that basically. And I think we saw that pay dividends. It meant that we had a side that we were able to attack down, and Spurs had to think about. And then when that happens, it's just like a domino effect. You know, they're pulling more of their players to the right hand side, and then we saw Lacroix pinging lots of lovely balls out to the left hand side because I think they wanted to defend that right hand side maybe a little bit more than that, and that's exactly I think what Sarr enabled us to do yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And also with Munoz, when he went up, whether it was under or overlap, you saw, I don't know if you guys saw it as well, but every single time that Munoz went, sort of gestured to Chalobah, and then the second he went up, our back line shifted over and sort of became a back four instead. Chalobah sort of picked up that right back role. Lacroix picked up the right centre back, left centre back in Mark, and then Mitchell dropped into a natural fullback again. And depending on which side we were up on, so if Mitchell went up, Munoz would drop into right back. If we're on the other side, Mitchell would drop into left back. But then the second that Munoz went, Chalobah slid over and he put himself in that right back role. And we actually saw sometimes as well where Chalobah would actually make a run through the middle as well, which we have been calling out for. And he's been obviously our two either-sided centre-backs have been standing a lot higher than Lacroix, and I think that just gave us a little bit more pressure to pin a team back, and I feel like it worked very, very well against Tottenham.
Can I ask you a quick question about that, JC?
Yeah.
I thought maybe, and this may have been shortly after, this is like last season, and I'm not sure if I'm remembering this correctly, attacked Eagle, whereas you were both going through Glasner's tactics. And that's something that I thought I had heard you say he does before. Like he will, if the wing back advances, will slide over and make that back four. So do I remember that right? Like, is this classic Glasner? And we're getting back to that.
That's what he did towards the end of last season, and that's one of the reasons why Klein was actually so effective in that team. Even though obviously Klein isn't a centre back, but it's because most of the time, because Munoz hardly ever plays in his right back position, it's because Klein's actually playing in that normal right back position, and Munoz was sort of acting as a right midfielder or a right winger most of the time. Yeah. So it was sort of a very natural way of getting more people up the pitch, but still having a back five when you're out of possession. And it's sort of something very similar to what he actually did at Frankfurt, because that's one of the ways how he managed to stifle Rangers in that Europa League final when Rangers were on hot form going forwards, but they just couldn't seem to break down his team.
Yeah, that's spot on.
Finally, Chairman, controversial. Adam Wharton plays. Was it the right decision, the wrong decision, and how was his actual performance?
Well, it has to be the right decision. We won for the start. I thought he played very, very well. Funny fact, he had a bit of a ropey start, didn't he? We said, I think you said it to me in the game, that after about sort of 2 or 3 minutes, he passed the ball straight out of play. Do you remember? And you said to me, we can't blame that on his injury, can he? But as the game got on, I think he got more confident, and I think his passing got better and better. And I think he really did grow into the game. Obviously, was it worth risking him? Well, it absolutely was, because it was 3 points. Is it worth risking him Wednesday night? Not a chance in hell. If he's ready for Saturday, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, honestly, we said it on the time, the Wharton Lerma partnership, and it's a shame Lerma got injured after 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. But it was honestly, Tottenham didn't know what to do, did they? Every time they tried to pass through our press and break through our midfield, they were just cutting out the line so often. I'm not. I mean, somebody said it actually on the chat when we just started.
12 interceptions.
Yeah, well, that's incredible, isn't it? For a
12 interceptions. Between Hughes and Wharton, they had
and
12.
And they're not talking about Lerma. Lerma made a couple as well. So Lerma made 3 or 4. You're talking about 15, 16 interceptions between the middle two. And that is brilliant. And I've got to say, I didn't know Wharton could shoot with his right foot like that, because he was very unlucky not to get his first goal of the season. But
yes, he did a backflip with an injury. He would have put the medical team in a heart attack.
They'd have gone bananas, wouldn't they? But no, I thought he had an excellent. I thought he started off a bit shaky. I thought he grew into the game. I think maybe he was told not to charge around and do the press too much, because I don't think he pressed too much. And I think they learned when Hughes did that for him to try to save him. But he just gives us balance in midfield, doesn't he? He makes a nice pass. He makes the game look easy. And when Adam Wharton plays well, we tick as well, don't we? We create chances. Now, absolutely is the right thing to do, and it proved it, didn't it?
He's just sort of the metronome in our team, isn't he? He keeps the tempo high, and he's able to find passes that even when I'm playing FIFA, I can't even see that kind of pass.
Very, very topically, he's very much like a Rodri or someone like that.
Mm-hmm. And also Fabrizio Romano ruining football again, telling us who's won the Ballon d'Or even before the ceremony. So
very topical.
Waste, man. I'm not going to ruin it for any of you guys if you guys are actually going to watch the Ballon d'Or, but we all know who it's going to be because of him. So.
Well done, Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Yeah.
Have you seen all them things of Real Madrid aren't going, blah blah blah, and have you seen all the other tweets? News just in: Remy Matthews will not be attending the Ballon d'Or. Oh man. Tim had a question for us, but I think there were so many comments we just glazed over it completely. Do you think Glasgow will back off and rotate for the cup? Feels like he should, and the Wolves game matters a lot more.
100%.
I think we can get away with it as well, because I think Villa will put out a weaker side as well, because they're at home and they've played a lot of European games recently. I'd be surprised if they played a full team.
Actually, here's a question for you guys then. Just on the Wednesday night game, he will not play Wharton, obviously, because he's carrying an injury. You don't want to risk it. He will not play Hughes because he can't play 2 games a week. He won't risk Lerma because he got an injury and hopefully ready for Saturday. So who is he going to play in midfield exactly?
Devaney.
Chalobah.
Yeah, it's got to be Devaney, right?
I reckon Chalobah will play there because
You reckon?
he played there for Chelsea, so I don't see why not.
Not Schlupp?
Hell no.
I'd rather Remy Matthews played there.
Let's hope that Ali didn't see that.
You know Kamada will play, don't you? You know that for
Yeah.
absolutely 100%.
To be
I'll
fair,
play-
Kamada and Chalobah, I don't think would have a bad balance to it actually. Because
Don't you
Chalobah would be a
think,
bit more withdrawn. I mean, I know he's not the passer, but we'll miss like a passer like Wharton, but I don't think that would be a terrible team.
I think that if you was going to name team, it would for me it'll probably be. I think Turner will probably get his first start in a Palace shirt.
100%.
Then it gets a bit dodgy. I'd probably say I don't know. I'll probably give Ume another shout because there is no other left wing back.
Mitchell needs a rest, definitely.
Yeah, Mitchell needs a rest badly, and then it really depends. Like, is Richards back? I don't know. I don't think
No,
so.
he won't be. He won't be back. Is
Ward?
Yeah,
Rob Holding.
Ward will be
Ward Klein.
Ward,
or
Ward,
Kapora, or Klein or Kapora.
Yeah,
Ward
actually,
would be-
one. Yeah, Kapora is a good shout.
Ward. I think Ward and Klein will be 2 of our centre backs. I think the other one will probably be Chalobah. I think Chalobah will probably be on the left. That's a tough one. I've got no idea.
So-
Because how do you rotate the team when you've not really got that big of a squad?
Well, you got to use youth, but don't you think this is?
I would
This
play
is-
Devaney and Agbanone. I'd say that.
I
before
would
even say
too.
anything.
And wouldn't you
Nketiah would be
play?
up front.
And wouldn't you play? I mean, Eze's gotta sit for a little bit. And don't you? Isn't that the perfect opportunity to play Kamada in his natural position? Right? Let him play in his natural position.
Nketiah will start, I think, definitely.
Yeah, I think if you had a front three of Nketiah, Agbanone, and Kamada, I don't think that's the end of the world. If you play Agbanone on the left, Kamada on the right.
Mitch is asking, do we have a Rob Holding's phone number? I don't think even Glasner's got that.
He's not even in the WhatsApp anymore. He's out of the group chat.
He's in the under 21s group chat instead.
He didn't play the last under 21s game.
Oh,
Wasn't he in the team where when we lost to you know who 10-0?
Oh, I
Wasn't
think
he
he
playing
was.
centre back?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah. Not the one that we won, but yeah, that one, yeah, I think he might have been.
I will say, big up everyone in the chat. There are so many comments. I don't even know where to start with them, so I'm just picking them out
Yeah, just to pick a few out, yeah.
as and when we go. UK Pat, big up yourself, saying Tim America.
Nice. Yeah. Love it.
Schlapp loves a cup game.
True.
You could play him. You could play him and Devaney in midfield. Nah, I don't know, man. I wouldn't play. Schlapp, that's my problem. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't play him.
yeah. Unless he plays left wing back, and maybe Uma goes into a 10 position.
Oh, Ume in the left hand would be naughty, and Agbanone on the other side with Nketiah in front. Very young attack.
We'll see. I mean, realistically, I don't think Wagasco put out a weak team.
No, I think I would hazard a guess that he put out the same team we played against Tottenham.
He's like, you guys aren't fit enough. You got to play again.
No chance. Wolves is a massive game, isn't it? I mean, you know, beating Tottenham is fantastic, but lose to Wolves, it means nothing, does it?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, you don't want it just to be like a flash in the pan, do you? Like,
Exactly,
we want to build up a bit of momentum.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I rest people on Wednesday.
Well, and aren't you? I hate to be this nervous about it, but you know they came back against the Seaweed. They scored 2, right? They get the draw in stoppage time.
All I'm going to say about the Seaweed is that I think they're very overrated, personally.
Well,
and I'm going to leave it at that.
You and me both, but that's.
I mean, if you're a Palace fan, it'd be wrong not to say that, though, wouldn't it?
The
But,
thing
like-
is, Tim, is
Yeah.
that their second equalising goal. If you go back about 30 seconds, Brighton had a 4-on-1 in front of their Wolves goal, and how they mucked that up, God only knows. But the thing with Wolves is they score, but they concede so many goals as well. They
That's
concede
true.
averaging
That's
3 a
true.
game at the moment.
Yeah, like I'm looking at their XG fixtures now, and like it's more than one like every single game pretty much. Against Brentford, they conceded 4 XG.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, jeez.
And
That is brutal.
Hey,
so
shocking,
far,
isn't
actually, mate, let me go to the table because actually, now I think about it, they've conceded loads of goals. They've conceded 25 goals this season. Oh my god!
What's that in 9 games?
Yeah.
That's just short of 3 a game. Yeah.
That is brutal.
You know what's going to happen here, right? 0-0.
Yeah.
Yep.
A way point is always a good point.
Facts.
Oh, of course, 100%. Tim, we all did our player ratings, so we'll let you do your player ratings, and we'll just let you fly through it. So we've got basically the whole team. Or if you know the team, just call the name, and then I'll put him in the number.
Well, let's go with what I remember here. So starting with on in goal, I thought Hendo had a good game. I think his distribution is getting slightly better. Still needs work, so I'll give him a 7. Let's see, Mitchell at left wing back. Start there. I thought he was fine. Give him a 7. He did get to advancing in advancing areas, so yeah, give him a 7. Gay was terrific. I thought Mark in his left center back position, fantastic. Easily an 8. Could have even been a 9, but I'm probably going to give Chalobah also an 8, and then Lacroix is a 10. If I could give him an 11, I would. He was so outstanding. So that's the back line. Let's go Wharton. Wharton had a great game. I thought he was
Munoz.
Oh, Munoz. Munoz was excellent. He makes he's pressing, gets us the move that gets us the goal. Give him a 8 or a 9. I'm going to go 9. I'll be generous. Give him a 9. I thought he was excellent. Okay. Wharton was also excellent. I agree. A little bit ropey. 8. A little bit ropey to start with, but excellent. Lerma was a starter. Lerma was terrific. He started really well. I'd also give him an 8. Let's see.
Eze.
Needs to work on that finishing, but he was the best playmaker on the pitch, I thought. So 7. Man, he was a difference maker. And I think he gets in on goal with that. And he should have gotten Van de Ven sent off. 8. JP scores the goal. Terrific. And he was riling up the crowd. Engaged JP is the best JP. 9. I like him. I like him a lot.
I like that rating as well for the fact that when we were saying, you know what, referee, and he was going.
Yes. Yes.
He
and they showed that on the broadcast. They went close up to JP going. It was great. It was really funny.
Moving on to the bench, we got Will Hughes was our first sub.
Man, if I could give him a 10, I would, but there's no way. You can't give him that. But he was excellent. He deserves an 8. He was so good. All those interceptions, he was excellent.
Nketiah.
He tried. I think I agree with you guys. Gave him a 5. I think I would agree with that.
And Kamada literally had no time to do anything, so he gets a flat 5.
Yeah, but he does make a couple of. Again, defensively, just a quick shout on him. He's getting better defensively. He got in the way of a couple of movements, and he gets the ball. He had one misplaced pass, but he had a couple of good passes. I'm telling you, just give the guy some playing time. He'll come good. He'll come good.
And finally, the manager.
Jeez, I mean, great tactics. I loved what you said about him moving the 210s down to create a little bit more steel in the midfield. 9. I thought he got it right, and yeah, I can't. That was a great performance. I just need to see more of that. It just unlocked so much relief. I need to see more of it.
Cool. Other people's doing their player ratings. Wharton, Eze, JP, Lacroix 8, Hughes, Hendo, Munoz, Sarr, Chala. Basically, the whole rest of the team 7, and then Kamada Lerma 6.75.
That's BBC ratings. Not fair.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, I thought that's a bit harsh on Lacroix, I would say.
Definitely.
But I just really, in this game, I think the one thing I want to take away from it is that from minute 1 to minute 90, we gave 100% all game, even though right at the end of the game, when we started to drop off, because you could tell that our players were feeling it from the press, that they're getting tired, that because of the fans would keep going, Selhurst was rocking, and I think that they pulled through. They played the whole game at 100%, and you have to pick up all the players for that and the manager. And me and Dan were saying, there's got to be a point where the manager's got to inspire some confidence, and I think that he did that in this game. And I think the last thing I want to say is one thing has changed. Tim, I've already told these guys what it is. Can you tell what's changed with Oliver Glasner?
Oh my goodness, what has changed with Oliver Glasner? Oh no, is this something I would have noticed on the touchline?
You should have.
I should have noticed it on the touchline. Damn. Now I'm embarrassed. What did I miss?
Glasner has ditched the Palace jacket and the goosey was on. That's all I'm saying. He was wearing the Canada Goose again.
Look, if that's what it takes to get wins,
Exactly.
you, dude, you
Alex knows.
You put that in the closet and you keep that Canada Goose, son.
Yeah.
I've got to bounce, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'll catch you guys later. Yeah.
Sweet. Cheers.
See you later,
Chairman.
Chairman.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, to be fair, there's not really much else to say about this. It's just an amazing win, amazing points. I hope that we really push on from now. Dan, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, no, the only thing's not to do with the game. Obviously, we'll do Tactical tomorrow for Saturday. That's a bit earlier at 6:30 because I've got to go work in the evening. And also the threads. I'm bringing the threads back. The first one will be out tomorrow. It was meant to be out today. Out tomorrow, and it's Archie Brown. So look forward to that on the Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I have found a winger that I would like you to do a thread on as well.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Right. Before we bounce, I'll let you know. But guys, thank you very, very much for watching. This is Eagle Eye Football. And as always, up the Palace. And I really hope that it actually plays the outro when I click this button, because if it doesn't, we're going to look like donuts again. But Eagles.
Up the Palace.